Hello and welcome to another episode of Soap Goes to the Oscars. This is episode 32, and I'm still in the sixth Oscar ceremony with 1932 to 1933 movies. This one was from 1932, and it is called I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang. And it is an American pre-code crime drama directed by Mervyn LeRoy, starring Paul Muni as a wrongfully convicted man on a chain gang who escapes to Chicago. It was released on November 10th, 1932. Received critical acclaim, was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Actor for Muni. The film was written by Howard J. Green and Brown Holmes from Robert Elliott Burns's 1932 autobiography of a similar name, I Am a Fugitive from a Georgia Chain Gang, originally serialized in the True Detective magazine. The true life story was later the basis for the television movie The Man Who Broke a Thousand Chains, starring Val Kilmer. In 1991, the film was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Let's see, produced by Hal B. Wallace, starring Paul Muni, Glenda Farrell, Helen Vinson, Noel Francis, cinematographer Sol Polito. I feel like I've seen that name before. Edited by William Holmes. So this one, at a certain point, I thought, oh, this is like Les Mis. It follows a somewhat similar story, but now I did not realize it was based on a book, which was based on a true story. I figured it might be based on a book because a lot of these are. These old movies are based on books or plays, or we talk a lot about now how nothing's original. Everybody wants IP for movies, and no original stories get made, but they didn't get made back in the beginning either. They were based on books and plays and other things, I guess. Probably at the time, they didn't think of just writing something just for a movie, and eventually that happened, obviously. Maybe even very early on, but it was easier to get something that was already an established story and make it into a movie even back then. So anyway, this one the story for this one was James Allen. He returns home after World War One. He earned a medal for bravery, and he was in the engineering corps during his time in the war. And so he wanted to get into construction when he got back home instead of going back to a factory. Meanwhile, his brother and his former boss at the factory where he worked before the war had set him up so that he could get a job back at the factory. He hates that idea and decides to quit. And, much to the chagrin of his brother, his mother supports him, but, is not super happy about it. So he travels around the country trying to find work, and he'll get hired for a job, and then they let him go, and he moves on to another place, which I'm sure happened a lot back then. He ends up at he basically has no money. He ends up at like a halfway house type of thing, and there's a guy there that tells him he can get him a free hamburger or diner down the road, and that he gets them from the cook. So they go in and do that, and the cook agrees to it. And then when the other customers leave, the new guy, robs the place and forces James to take the money out of the register. And when they go to leave, the cops are already coming in, and they shoot the new guy, and James is left caught with the money, and he goes to prison and is sentenced to hard labor on a chain gang. So pretty quickly, within a few months, he breaks out, kind of does the same thing, sort of moves around a little bit, works his way to Chicago, and gets work on a construction site. And pretty quickly and it starts in 1924 when he starts at the Chicago site, and then goes up to like 1929 or so, and he works his way up from basically doing the same kind of work he was doing on the chain gang to being like a foreman and a supervisor and kind of the head of the project that eventually. And he meets a woman, rents an apartment from her, but he doesn't really like her. He wants to leave, and she finds out he's a convict and blackmails him into marrying her. And so, I mean, I won't go into the whole story. It was pretty good, but it it ended very bleakly, I will say. So I don't know. This one was actually really good. The main dude was really good. At the beginning, I was a little wary. He was little over the top. Even there was one part, like the first job he gets when he goes to Boston, he's working on like a crane or something, and the guy comes out and he's like, "Oh, we're cutting down," and so the new people got to go, and he goes, "Well, all right," and he like jumps off like shit, "Oh shucks," and jumps down, and I was kind of like, ugh. But it actually was pretty good, and again, I haven't really none of these movies from this round have been bad in my eyes. That's also surprising because they let more movies in. So there's 10 movies this time. There was 8 last time. Before that, there was only 5. So, that just because you let 10 in doesn't mean all 10 are going to be good. And that proved to be the case for me anyway, with the 8 in the previous year. This one was really good. I think I will put this one at the top of the last one. Well, when I reviewed Little Women, I had changed that to the top over Private Life of Henry VIII, but I think I'd move this up to the top. I really like this one. It was a little bit of like some action when he was escaping, and obviously drama. Not much comedy though. They for some reason they tried to throw a little bit in like right near the very end. And I don't know if it was just because the bleak ending was very different from a lot of these other movies. So it was pretty good. Leroy cast Paul Muni in the role of James Allen after seeing him in a stage production of Counselor at Law. Muni was not impressed by Leroy upon first meeting him in the Warner Burbank office, but Muni and Leroy became close friends. Leroy was present at Muni's funeral in 1967 along with Muni's agent. Hmm. The final lines in the film, spoilers, "But you must, Jim. How do you live? I steal," are among the most famous closing lines in American film. Director Mervyn Leroy later claimed that the idea for James's retreat into darkness came to him when a fuse blew on the set, but it had been written into the script. Yeah, it was a stark ending. So, yeah, I really like this one a lot. Top of the list now for this round of Oscars. So that's all I got. I will see you next time.